The point I'm trying to make is, when it comes down to it, there are some amazing sculptural arts all over the continent of Africa and around the Caribbean. Amazing. However, if I'm posting that, does that show you that I'm rich enough? Do you get what I mean? The stigma behind it is, I need to do this. When we call him PJ or Juicy J. He likes Juicy J because it says Juicy J on his number plate. But when Juicy J turned around and spoke about why are we not putting infrastructures within our community to make our community then thrive off whatever level we could be at -10. Let's thrive from -10 to -9. Let's celebrate that jump. And who's doing that? And what does it look like? And if you can't do that, and if you're not doing that, why do we then get upset when we've gone from -10 to -11? Do you get what I mean? Because nothing's been put in place to improve. Do you get what I mean? And this is
like, who's going to put these things in place?
You do. It's your job. It's down to you. If you don't do it, who's going to do it?
My job.
And this is no.
I disagree with you. It's your
job. I'll tell you why it's your job.
I disagree with you.
I'll tell you why it's your job.
My job is to look after my family and to.
And do you know who your
Buddy
family
just
is?
poured his drink all over himself.
Do you know who your family is? Do you know who your family is? Your family's me. And your family's Buddy. Your family's Jay. Juicy J. Sorry, Jay. He likes to be called Juicy. So these are your family. Now, if you're not making sure and keeping me in check, then I'm going to do whatever I want. So 14-year-old Sirelli is going to meet 14-year-old Citrus. And we're going to make the 14-year-old decision that makes 14-year-old mistakes.
I'm sorry,
going to finish.
I disagree with you, bro.
I'm going to finish. We're going to make those mistakes. And do you know what the worst thing is? If we didn't learn from those mistakes, guess what? Our children are going to make the same mistakes. When I spoke about Eubank Senior and Eubank Junior and Buddy with the moths at the bottom of the hill, I'm turning around and saying, if we're not teaching and learning from each other, then who's going to learn? The difference is, for me, what's missing in our community is the pioneer. You need a pioneer to turn around and make the step change.
I totally disagree.
So before you continue, Jay made the point. Yo, producer, hey, you got your mic? Someone, turn his mic on, turn the mic up. All right, talk with Chess, yeah?
No, yeah, I just wanted to add to the point, you know, like you said, maybe whose responsibility is it and stuff like that. Just to even add to what you're saying, like, you guys know where we are. It's the car park outside. We can tell whose car's a black man's car and who's not a black man's car, right? But there's a lot of people around here making money, and they're not driving Germans. When there's a German car, you know it's a black person's car. You understand? So there's something to do with, as soon as we have a certain amount of money, doing stuff for other people. So
I don't drive a German car.
So I don't necessarily agree with that because
Buddy doesn't. So sorry. I'm just putting it out there. Just
the
free
fact
throw.
that we can tell whose car it is. I don't really care if you agree.
the reason why, because people will buy cars, or you're talking about things like the products.
No.
If they buy them because they like them.
Bro, it's not. No, it's not. It's not.
Why not?
Why do people like the?
Do you know what the worst thing is?
Why do people like that Essentials hoodie? That's oversized with just Essentials on it because of who wears it. People are interested.
And do you know what's crazy? Do you know why I kind of like his point? Because if you think about it, it's going to sound so harsh, but for us to gain respect from people we don't know, we have to demand respect. And how we gain the respect quickest is by showing them from a social standard point of view, I am higher than everyone else. And what proves that? The jewelry I've got, the clothes I'm wearing, the glasses I've got on, the car that I'm driving. Do you know what I mean? Or I have to flaunt my money openly to get... No. Come, gents, come on, let's be real, bruv. You're the truth, bruv. You call yourself the truth.
What group are we talking?
But it doesn't matter.
Well, it does matter. It's highly relevant.
Okay, I'm going to help you out. What car do you drive?
I drive a BMW.
What type of BMW? Jay is busting up over there. But what kind of BMW?
Wait,
what kind of BMW?
Wait, you know what? The thing is, I was going to answer every one of his questions for like the way he's asking me.
Yeah, go on.
Howard, there's other things. Because you say to me, why do I drive a BMW? But a BMW is...
I never said why. I never said why.
No, but there's reasons why I get...
I never said why.
You're saying, what car do you drive?
I just said, what car do you drive?
What house do you live in? What areas do you live in?
No. I'm going to help you out. I'm going to help you out.
No. And I'm going to retaliate by saying, I drive a BMW because BMWs are reliable. I like the look of my car. It's a reliable car. It's not like me going out buying a Range Rover, for example. All right? aren't reliable cars, all right? But to be
Luckily,
honest
we
with
don't
you,
know anyone that drives a Range Rover.
or a Land Rover, huh? All right. So I'm sitting there saying to you, not reliable, not cars the cars that get stolen regular, high on insurance. Why are you actually driving a Land Rover or a Range Rover? My sister drives a Range Rover, all right? And I sit there and think to myself, it's because it's a bossy car right now, because she likes to be bossy. And I'm sitting there thinking, it's probably not the best whip, babe, not the best car to have, all right? Because you know what? I'll be very honest, I wanted a Range Rover Evoque convertible. I wanted it. And then I started hearing my family sitting there saying to me, yo, got this problem with my Land Rover, this problem with my Land Rover, this problem. I was like, right, how many problems are you going to have? Me and my BMW, I've had no problems, thank God. Touch wood, all right? So at the end of the day, I'm sitting there going, great BMW. And I'm going to stick with my BMW.
So-
my next car will probably be a BMW. If I wanted to get a state car, X-Range.
So I'm going to help you out. What you've just said has proven the point that you just made.
I totally disagree with that.
Thank you.
And let me come in now. No,
I'd like to-
you've had your
One
moment.
second. So what it comes down to is
You've had your moment, Citrus.
I'm gonna finish.
Citrus, you've had
no,
your
wait,
moment,
I'm gonna let me finish. I asked a question. He's responded. I'd like to respond back. If there's no space for me to respond back, I'll be quiet.
There's no space. All right. So I've been trying to speak, and every time you cut me. First of all, going all the way back to the front, the fact that you've made about people having, you can tell whose car it is, you're right. There is a category and a stigma of a certain demographics buying, and I'm going to use this, and a lot of people are not like it, out of their range. Yeah? But it's not just cars. It's down to what Citrus said as well. It's going into, I appreciate it was an example. It's going into a club and buying champagne and pouring it on the floor. And they've still got rent to pay or mortgage to pay. And I'm not saying that this is something that's, just in the black community or in India. It happens across the board. This is more a cultural issue that's happening now. Now, there's a range, as Buddy said, there is a range of people that, age range, where this is more prevalent than anywhere else. Like Buddy, I drive a BMW. However, I've been through every hoopty or banger that I've had a Renault. Betsy, I love you. I've had Vauxhall. I've had VW. I've had probably every Ford going. So now I'm driving a BM. It's not because it's status. I've also got a Citroen that I drive as well. And for me, when I'm driving a Citroen, it's no different to when I'm driving a BM. For me, I like the BM. I bought that one. And to be honest, even if it wasn't a BM and it was something else, I particularly like that particular car. So I would have bought that no matter what. Now, this thing that I think where the confusion is happening at the moment is, and I don't want to blame social media, but it does have a very, very big influence on the youth. Now, somebody sent me something ironically this week that says, basically, if you do not teach your kids, teachers will teach your kids for you. Now, I'm a strong believer in you have to, when Citrus was saying that you've got to look after the community, you've got to look after this person, you've got to look after that person, I totally disagree. My job is to look after my family. If you're part of my family, then I will look after you. Now, again, there are too many people out there, mothers and fathers, who are not stepping up to the plate. They're not doing the role that they're supposed to do. There are fathers out there who haven't seen their kids in months. There are mothers out there who feed their kids but don't actually have a relationship with the child. You go to school, you come home, I give you food, you're clothed, you're fed, that's my job done. But they don't have a relationship with the child. They don't know who the child is hanging around with outside of school. They don't know, school finishes at 3:30, you're not home till 6 o'clock. They don't know what's happening between that time. Oh, he plays football. My man stopped playing football 4 years ago. He's now checking gal, as most guys do. They lose interest in football because gal takes its place. And now, instead of going training, I'm going to go to Southall because my boy told me there's a group of girls that are down there that go to this particular bar song. So there is a lot of void in this community right now where fathers, mothers, uncles should be stepping in and they're not. There are parents right now that don't know where the kids are right this moment on a school night. And the kids have got school tomorrow. Now, like I said, this is not about me boasting and saying I've got I'm doing the best I can and my kids are great. No, it's not about that. It's about saying what I've learned. In my experience, be involved. Speak to them. Find out what, even if it's not your interest, find out what their interests are. You need to find a common ground to have that conversation. You've got to find something where the two of you, or the three of you, or the four of you, depending on how many kids you have that kind of commonality where you can say, look, I know what's going on. I know who your friends are. Invite your friends round. You're outside in the park, on the park bench, or you're going to the corner, or you're going wherever you are. Bring them here. I've got no problem with them coming to the house. You go in your room with them, you sit downstairs, whatever the case may be. You need to have that connection. You need to be in that situation where you are part of your kid's life. Jay made a point of saying...
Really? Just give us...
No, it's still recording, Let.
Oh, okay.
So, Jay made a point of saying that we've got different generations, living in the same house. And grandma is teaching the grandkids. And you're right. That is something that's very important. And once it's happening, and it propels itself. But then on the same note, you also have grandma who's just used as a babysitter. The kids should be going to nursery and learning and developing themselves. But instead of that happening, they're just at home with the grandparents because it's cheaper. And the family can save money and whatnot. So there are benefits both ways. There are benefits in both aspects, but there are also disadvantages. But for me, the strongest and the most important part of it is being involved with our youth. We need to know. We cannot depend on the schools. We cannot depend on government. And yes, when we were younger, there were more youth centers and there were more things for us to do and all those things. And I'm not saying that doesn't help, but the responsibility lies with us as parents. Be involved with your kids. And the thing is, I do understand you've got to work. You go to work, you come home. You don't necessarily have that in you to then, after you've cooked dinner, to sit down and then have an hour conversation. How was your date? Because if it's not something you're doing, it feels forced.
Yeah.